I have 7:30. Let's call this meeting of the April 8th Board of Adjustment to order. Can you first take the roll? All members present with the exception of Mr. Bush. Let's get into the opening ceremonies. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning.
We'll move on to our standard motion. We've got the meeting minutes in front of us. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Do we have a motion? Motion by Troy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Trevor. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to our regular agenda. We have a request to exceed the maximum square footage allowed for a detached structure on an R1 zone lot by 1,344 square feet. With the project location being 336 5th Street Southwest, Lot 2, Block 1, Stang Addition. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of that?
Which one? Yeah, I'm Sheldon Bonoff, the.
You want to come up and tell us what the plans are?
Oh, well, and then Rich Stradling is the contract that I want, but this is new for me, so I don't know.
It's all right.
what
You can
or-
both come up.
Yeah, you can both come up and just let us know what you're proposing there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, there's where in the permit I submitted the blueprint plans, I don't know if all of you got of
Yeah, I think we all seen it.
the garage there where I know I wanted it nice stick built with shingles and siding and brick on front to match and tie into the other housing around in the area that looked nice, and where I kind of designed it, I wanted it well with, like where it would jog out 2 foot in the front and 6 feet in the back, so the center bay would be, even though I don't have a motorhome or fifth wheel camper, that center bay would be big enough to ever hold in the future there, and I wanted it that gives the building more character too, instead of just a plain squared off building look too, so.
Basically what we're doing is, you can see the outline lot right there. It is touching his property, which is the second house in. We're gonna combine the two lots so that he can build the garage. Short and sweet, basically. As far as why we're doing it that way is because he has no room to get around to do the detached garage behind it or around the side of it. So that's why we're asking for the variance on this side, so. Any other questions?
You'd be accessing this from the south, correct?
Yes.
You're right.
Well, you'd be accessing it from that street right there, whatever that one is.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said you would be combining the lots, correct? I mean, that'd be
Yes.
required, I think, right? By
Yep.
Any opposing comments from neighbors?
The city of Dickinson received one call from the adjacent property owner right to the west of this lot. That's, I believe it shares about 154 feet from north to south on this lot. And that neighbor was in support of the project. I did have a conversation with the neighbor that they would end up putting in public sidewalk, just like the applicant will have to on this project. And the neighbor did not have an issue with that.
I guess I only had one other question when I looked at this. The overage is based on the 0.82 acres. That is the size of the lot that it's going on, but if you combine these, his lot sits on over an acre, right?
And it would be reduced by about 250 square feet, so he'd be asking for 250 square feet less. So on this particular lot, based on the size, I used it this way, so if the lot ever got split again, that they would not have to come back in for another variance.
Okay, so you're asking for us to approve this just on this lot, not on the
Well,
conjoined lots
I guess-
necessarily?
I guess you could look at it as either way, so if you combine the lots, it'd be at 250 square feet less. If the lot would be built on, this would cover it also.
Okay.
The lot sizes are, I believe, 45,000 and 35,000. So again, a residential R1 lot, the minimum size lot is 7,500. So it gives you that comparison. So these are good-sized lots, even though a portion of the lot, I believe, goes into the Heart River, as you can see on
Right.
the photo. And I did take those square footages from the assessor's page.
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question as far as, just out of curiosity, what is the sidewall height?
The middle will be 16 foot, the center, the two sides will be 12.
Based on the setbacks, they do get a increase in height. For every 2 foot extra of setback, they get an extra foot in height. We did do those calculations. That is why this is not a part of the variance, because they do meet the intent of the code.
I don't see anyone else here, but I guess I could ask, is there anyone to speak against this project? And you
Sheldon.
haven't heard anybody from,
Sheldon did do his due diligence and talk to all the neighbors. And the only concern that they had was make it look nice. So it's gonna look like the front of his
Yeah.
house already, so.
Yeah.
When I moved up and introduced myself over the last year or so, I mentioned that that was my thought in the future, of having the extra garage on there, and they all thought it was a decent idea, and virtually almost all of them said, well, it's your lot, you do whatever you want with it, but we said, well, the city has to approve certain deals too, but yet I told them, well, the best thing is open communication, and asked if they had any questions, and they all thought it looked real nice and everything too, and because I mentioned that, well, it is a little oversized, but when I mentioned the 1,200, they said, well, that would almost look worse, having a little tiny thing on a nice lot versus a nice looking building.
it's the board's wishes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve the detached structure variance, with the limitation of no other permitted or unpermitted buildings allowed.
Do we have a motion by Bruce? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Pat. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll. Bruce?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Troy?
Aye.
Trevor?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Go ahead and make it look nice.
Okay, well, thank you.
Any other business today?
City does not have any other business.
Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Trevor. We stand adjourned.
Bauhaus must be giving it farming, huh?
He must have.